don't know why. Anyway, so I'm gonna go by this list. And because you're early, you're gonna get more time. You know, we're gonna do the one round, and then you're gonna go again in the regular round. Okay? So, let me put Ken Taylor here. And we're going to up and up with a song from Ken Taylor, then we're going to do all the, because the rest of you are, and me, writers. So we're going to up and up with a musician. He's going to set the mood, the stark reality mood. And by the way, if you're here for the first time, which is only you, Eric, everybody, there is no censorship here, okay? You can fuck or you can make love, whichever realm you know what I'm saying? We can, you can have whatever mind you want, from naked mind to mind with clothes on. You could do whatever the fuck you want in front of this microphone, okay? I don't care if you're left wing or right wing, it ain't too popular to be right wing, that's for sure. We put those away. We put them away because we got the House, the Senate, and the executive. Let me tell you something. Biden's going to last a long time because he's in better shape than I am. All right? He is. He's in great shape. And he's got a great sex life. Think about it. They love each other, that Dr. Jill and him, they can't keep their hands off each other. I'm telling you, they fuck every night. I'm telling you. He doesn't need, what's that drug that makes, what?
Viagra.
No, he does. I don't think he needs Viagra. I think she's got it. I think that's his Viagra as his wife. So, the freedom is here, the mic is here, the mask, you can take your mask off when you're in front of the mic. I mean, I can't deal with it. So, introducing Ken Taylor from New York City. He is a very passionate musician. And he sells great shirts.
Yes.
All right. Ken Taylor. We're gonna go around one. Okay.
Hey, what's happening? What's up? I'm sure there's smiles behind those masks. So, a sad love song because I don't know. Not sure.
You broke up with somebody?
Last year.
Last year?
I survived.
You survived.
Yeah. And now I'm thriving. Next.
This is the man that wants to make a movie about my life. He wants to follow me around so I can show him all the crazy shit that I do. Because I only have one person. This is why I can't find a job, because I have one personality. It's the same shit. I'm the same personality in front of anybody because I'm not afraid of authority. You know, I'm atheist. I don't give a shit. Authority. If I can put away this magic old man upstairs, you know what I'm saying? Yeah, fuck authority. I mean, if you're too afraid of authority, you won't have a chance to be yourself. And that's the biggest murder there is, when you murder your own personality. So, please welcome Paul HIGBIE.
Thank you. Thank you. Yeah.
Welcome.
Make me sound like a stalker. I want to follow your
No, it's your creative story.
Yeah, creative stuff. Okay, all right. But I do want to make a documentary about you and the mic. Someday, maybe. Anyway, so I wrote a poem. What I've been doing during the pandemic is playing. Anyone play chess? Yeah? Badly?
Yeah.
I picked it up as a hobby. I've been playing a lot. And so I wrote a poem about it. It's not finished, but that's great for this little introduction round. I'll just read what I have so far. So it's just like the story of one chess game in a rhyme. Okay. I jump my queen's pawn to the center, so your king's pawn cannot enter. You mirror me, bring out your queen's pawn too, so I send another pawn to the side to flank you. You decline the gambit, staying put on the center tile. You'd rather keep your prime real estate than take a pawn on the outside file. So you move your king's pawn forward to protect the queen's pawn back. If I capture yours, you capture mine and negate the attack. No problem. I can wait. I don't fight just to fight. I move with a purpose and bring out my kingside knight. Good idea, you must think, because you do the same. I must overpower the center, so I bring my other knight into frame. Your bishop darts out next to my knight, a versatile threat. In just one move, your position triply improves. Where your bishop is, where it was, and where it's not yet. My knight must stay still and strong, with your bishop's blade on his neck, because he blocks your bishop from my king, who he's sworn to protect. The space your bishop left creates advantage another. Your king can duck into the corner for cover. Finally, should your bishop swoop once more, my knight clutched in its talons. My pawn move to capture it back would shift my position off balance. Your bishop's move has a name, earning favor for this pastor, where it goes in defense, titled for the Soviet Grandmaster. And that's as far as I got. I want to get through like a whole game, but that's what I got.
For now.
Yeah, for now.
I'm going to read it's one of these haunting poems. Okay. The name of this poem is called Sleep. I crawl towards night, cheek to pillow, drag the covers to my neck. The universe mothers me, making sure I am tucked in. I want to wake up a dream away from morning. I have no body in sleep, no rescue needed under moon's light and crickets chirping. No company needed when I close my eyes. always naked in this world of endless journeys, where anything is possible, like shedding my skin and becoming an eaten chicken, sucked marrow, bones lying on a dish. I can be anyone, anything, no identity to spoil my disguises. I have no name in chameleon nights. I can enter anyone's mind, my story left behind. I enter and exit, my doors can't be shut. I strut unseen, I am perception, you can't lock me out. I can hear you in a whisper or a shout. I am nothing and everything, unbound in silence or sound. Thank you. Okay, oh boy, well, he's not just a writer, he's a musician also. Please welcome Chris ICONICIDE.
Well, I wasn't really prepared for like an earlier round, but then I was trying to remember words to a song that I did hear some time ago, but I can't quite recall the second verse.
Freestyle.
It'll come to you when you start.
No, it won't. So I'm going to do something else. I've had my own band now for a little over 32 years. ICONICIDE. We started on Lower East Side in late '88, and we're currently working on material for a 10-inch that is going to be self-released through my imprint, All Rights Perverse. That's R-I-T-E-S Perverse. And I was thinking of maybe singing one of the tracks from that. The title track, the title of the 10 is going to be Sleeper Cells and Focus Groups, because it seems like those are the only people we appeal to. Anyway, the first song that I wrote actually for ICONICIDE was called Destroy and Be Free. It's sort of like, kind of political and whatnot. So beat your swords into plowshares, beat your plowshares into swords. For when you're found prepared for all peace is when it's time for war. Complacency is suicide. You've got to understand. We've got to destroy and be free. That's the only way to save this land. They're burning the Constitution as they try to save the flag. They'll guard your rights until they're gone, and it's only a rag. By waving banners stained with blood, the flames of hate are fanned. We've got to destroy them and be free. That's the only way to save this land. Now everybody knows someone who's going to die from AIDS, but as they're all rotting away, the government still gets paid. Officially sanctioned genocide. Their downfall, it was planned. We've got to destroy and be free. That's the only way to save this land. So beat your swords into plowshares, beat your plowshares into swords. For when you're finally prepared for peace is when it's time for war. Complacency is suicide. You've got to understand. We've got to destroy and be free. That's the only way to save this land. For 50 weeks out of every year, you're digging your own grave. From 9 to 5, you're not alive. You're no more than a slave. You try hard not to realize, because all your thoughts are scanned. But we've got to destroy and be free. That's the only way to save this land. As yippies, punks, and squatters are pushed out by yuppie scum, they tear down a thriving community to build a high-class slum. A high-tech hell that's built on greed. It's supply and demand. We've got to destroy and be free. That's the only way to save this land. So beat your swords into plowshares, beat your plowshares into swords. For when you're finally prepared for peace is when it's time for war. Complacency is suicide. You've got to understand. We've got to destroy and be free. That's the only way to save this land. CIA or KKK, you know it's all the same. They steal our blood and rape the land and think it's just a game. It's multinational cancer Inc. Across the globe it span. We've got to destroy them and be free. That's the only way to save this land. From Tiananmen to Tompkins Square, you watch the bottles fly. They say our efforts are doomed, but we know we have to try. The disaffected masses know it's time to take a stand. It's time to destroy and be free. That's the only way to save this land. So beat your swords into plowshares, beat your plowshares into swords. For when you're finally prepared for peace, it's when it's time for war. Complacency is suicide. You've got to understand. We've got to destroy and be free. That's the only way to save this land. There's a company in Europe that's developing a machine where you can cut vinyl at home. As soon as I get that, it's coming out. But bear with us. We've been around for quite some time. Yay.
more temptation.
Huberman.
Well, my mother died in 2018. She was a cancer person. So my sister immediately ran to the apartment.
Take your mask off up there.
She said, where is it? I said, you know I took it. I took the morphine. I still have it because I like morphine. But I'm not using it. I just wanted to have it. I still have it. I said, oh wait, I collect drugs. I don't use it anymore, but I still collect it. Because I said, maybe one day I'll start using it again. That's my thing, you know. I've been on drugs a long time, but I still, I'm like, I have codeine, I have morphine, I have the liquid heroin shit, I got it all.
We're following you
I keep
home.
on collecting shit like
We're
this.
following you home.
Okay, so this piece is an old piece, it's called, it finally got published. It got published in a book called, it was all, everybody's rejection pieces got, you know, so it got published in a rejection anthology. You know, this piece got rejected 20 times, and now it's got published. And it's called Gum Job. 1980, New York City. It was an old story in the Lower East Side. There was a rumor that Chinese black heroin had hit the streets, and I wanted in. So there I was on Avenue D, in an abandoned building on the Nod, kissing my kneecaps, but never falling down. Godzilla, King Kong, Mighty Joe Young were all my back, but I didn't care. I was high, I mean really high. And then out of the shadows, a movement was made. It looked like Count Dracula had come out of the darkness, like a giant weird cape was coming at me. Unfortunately, it wasn't the king of vampires. It was a bag lady dressed all in black garbage bags, and even her feet were wrapped in it. She smiled at me and said, "Sorry if I startled you." I looked her over. Wasn't exactly sure if she was an hallucination. "I'm the real deal," she said. And I guess she was. My eyes had adjusted to the gloom, but the dope was strong. "So, young man, looks like you are breaking the law. You're doing hard drugs, shooting heroin, I believe." Her voice reminded me of an old TV show. She sounded like Emma Peel from the Avengers. "I'm from England, you know." I didn't reply to her, hoping she would just go away. I was just too fucked up to care. Viewing her more closely, she had a round oval face and a black garbage bag on top of her head that now made her look like a character out of Alice in Wonderland. I thought maybe she was an elderly black woman, but I could not really tell from the lack of light around us. Then she moved closer towards me, and her smile seemed to have gotten bigger and bigger. And when she opened her mouth to talk, she had not a tooth to be seen. "All those drugs going down your veins are not going to help you any. You need a new experience. I'm a sexual healer, you see." I was about to turn away from her because she was fucking up my high. I just wanted to go back to dreamland. But then she said something totally bizarre, and I wanted to make sure she was real and not a fabrication out of a poppy dream. "Will you say that again, please?" I said. My voice reverted back to me as metallic and left me with a taste of white chalk. She replied, though, "I said, young man, I'm willing to give you, Mr. Young Junkie Man, a mind-blowing sexual healing gum job. You see, I have not a tooth in my mouth, lots of space, and all gum. You have not lived until you got one of old sweet Betsy's famous gum jobs. I'll suck you in two." I interrupted her fine speech and said, "Get the fuck out of here, old skank." And I turned my back on her and went back into the big
we had a one around. And the last person in the one around is Eric Martine, and then we're gonna start the regular open. Okay? If you did not sign the open mic list, come and sign the open mic list, because otherwise I can't call you. All right? Are you going to be performing? Yeah, you. No.
Me?
Hi.
Yes. Yeah,
Who are you?
I'm Ken.
Oh, Ken. Did you write your name down?
Not yet, just-
Go right ahead, hon.
Okay.
Before the next person starts. And you are not performing? Yeah, you. What's your name?
Who, me?
Yeah.
Paul.
Paul?
Yeah, I'm not performing.
All right, cool. All right. Eric Martine, one piece, and then we start the regular. Here's the microphone. Thank you.
I'll go short one. This is.
Okay. How you doing?
This is called That Kind of Kid. I was the cool kid you looked up to, because I was too cool for school and did what the fuck he wanted. The 15-year-old who already had some ink his own pad and let street kids crash. The kid who boosted steaks and beers, who hazed the young Mexican kid we called Tattoo in a juvenile detention center. I was the kid who figured he was the size of a grown man, so auctioned himself off on construction sites to toil. Never got carded at pubs because he looked like he could hold his own liquor and wouldn't lose a fight. I was old school by the time you started hanging out, even though we're the same age. I was the kid you came to when you needed to buy a piece, cop some dope, coke, or wet. I was a throwback to the LES a century prior, when young men jumped ship from the four corners of the world and came to New York. A bad after-school special. Someone who jammed with famous musicians. The kid who had skills for sizing women up like a matador and a bull. Seeing which one would take me home, with a certain Mediterranean je ne sais quoi and pepe la pew charm. Yeah, the kid crawling out of the PJs late at night as the ghetto bird flies high, as the ghetto bird flies by, as the ghetto bird flies high. I was that kid.
Okay, he moves back. So now we're starting the regular round. You all got like 7 to 10 minutes, okay? Whoops. Let's see. Okay, there we go. So once again, we have an open mic. There's no censorship here, as you know. Please welcome to the stage again. Screenwriter, movie maker, writer of all types, Paul HIGBIE, from Queens.
Hello again. All right. So, yeah, I'm just gonna read some stuff I wrote. All right. So, this is about a guy I knew named Alan Shane. Alan Shane was a dirty old man. He was so dirty. When he told dirty jokes, he left out the joke part. There was no joke, just dirt. Alan Shane had a dirty little room. It was so dirty. He hung his bag from the ceiling so the roaches couldn't get it. Alan Shane liked dirty movies. He loved dirty movies. Like As To, As and Mo Ass, Big Ass, Ass Club, Ass.com, others. Alan Shane was dirt poor. He was so poor. Even the dirt on his dirt farm was poor dirt. Alan Shane died. They put him in an urn and wrote one of his dirty jokes on it. Don't ask what your country can do for you. Ask, are you choking? Are you choking on dick? It wasn't really a dirty joke, but it was so dirty. That's a true story, actually. So, yeah, I made a documentary that he was in. He was a stand-up comedian I met at open mics. And so, when he died, he was to report this comedy theater, the Creek and the Cave in Long Island City. They like arranged for him to be cremated, and they had like his urn there, and it said one of his jokes. Don't ask what your country can do for you. Ask, are you sucking on dick? And that was like his epitaph on his urn. Anyway, so the Creek and the Cave, they went out of business a few months ago. They closed up, and I picked up like on my desk now is this urn that says, "Are you choking on dick?" What a weird thing.
collector's item.
Yeah, probably. Yeah, it really ups the value of my place. Anyway, yeah, I'll trade it for some crank or whatever you all right, so this next one is about another stand-up comedian from open mics. I think I've read this one before. You know him, Gary Marinoff. Okay. It's called
Twoo, it's Gowie.
It's Twoo. If you couldn't pronounce your O's, it might make you wary to use words including O's because talking long is scary. The kids torment my friend who wisps and say he's a fairy. I tell him he can hide it with synonyms from the library. But what can I do? My parents named me Gary. I can't order my sundae with whipped cream, syrup, or cherry. I generally resent most fruits, tangerines, oranges, every berry. But why bother being careful with my words considering the burden that I carry? I cannot say the letter R, and my parents named me Gary. I could go to the trouble of writing my own vows to the woman that I marry. I could go to the trouble of writing vows to the woman that I marry. I could make substitutions like Staten Island boat instead of ferry. I could answer that my favorite is a Wayne. Oh, I messed it up. I answer my favorite is Elaine instead of Kramer, George, or Jerry. I could jump through hoops to not say "or" until the day I'm dead and buried. But I never make it one damn day because my parents named me Gary. That was going back there. Thank you. Thank you. All right. And how much time have I done?
About 6 minutes.
Okay. All right. So, all right. So I'll do one more. Might be a little short, but okay. So this is about another guy I know, my friend Sepha. All of Sepha's friends can do a Sepha impression except me. So this poem about Sepha will be my expression. He has a nasally voice and is always nervous. He's a delight. He makes me laugh like no one else, and he's Turkish. He cracks eggs with his hands to show off his strength. He does keto. He hasn't worked since '08 and wants to break up big banks. He keeps his dad off his case by taking business classes over and over, just like the improv courses that he never ever passes. He's funnier than any comedy taught in a school. You can't learn to be Sepha, but if Sepha taught comedy, what would be the #1 rule? You could put on a costume, that's something he does, like tie-dye and gray fin. But there's more to Hippie Shark than the duds. You could post memes about squirrels. He does that too. I wouldn't laugh, because you're not Sepha. I'm sorry, but it's true. I can't explain why Sepha's funny. That's why he's funny to me. So is that the end? No. I like talking about him. Don't like it, sue me. He said New York got boring, and he left last November. And then he moved back. Or maybe he never left. I can't remember. His going away party was fun. He wore a boa and silver lashes. Silly Sepha. Sassy Sephi. Wearing glitter and sashes. Maybe it had to do with rent. His dad cut him off from the profits, from the family's big orchard in Turkey. Sepha needs his cut to live off it. I wish his dad knew like I know. It's a gift to be wild. It's priceless, irreplaceable. He should be proud of his special and wonderful child. Don't take Sepha lightly. He knows himself deep and true. You may think he's a joke, but he's more introspective and honest than you. There's one more thing he'd want you to know. He lost 60 pounds. He got that monkey off his back. Now it's just his mind weighing him down.
Thank you. Okay. Good, good.
All right. Yeah, I'm Chris from ICONICIDE, and whatever you're expecting from me today, I ain't gonna do it. What I have in store for you is a bit of audience participation. See, I had a friend who ran away from home when he was 30 years old. Don't laugh, he's either homeless now or dead. Think for a second how fucked up your life has to be if that's when you get to it. And after his mom searched the entire state of California, hunted him down, and dragged him back home, he started referring to that day when shit hit the fan as doomsday. So, when my so-called father died in '96, I wrote a children's book. And I'm going to have Viviana pass around the illustrations so you can get a look at them. That book is part of my new book, Notes from the Exploding Library, which you can get on Amazon for $17.76. But if you want an uncorrected proofreader's copy, I can give that to you for $5, which is less than it cost me. And anyway, that's where you come in, because whenever I say the title of the story, you're going to say it along with me. And that title is Around and About a Day or So Before or After Doomsday. Start off with the first illustration, if you like.
Okay.
Just to set the scene. Wrote this in summer of '96, right after my father died. I woke, and yes, the sun was up, as well it ought to be, and heard a something that was singing in a tree. I shook free of the dust of sleep and wiped away the gray, around and about a day or so before or after doomsday. I hurried to the window, as I'd heard something like rain, but not a cloud was in the sky. I saw that much was plain. Why wasn't I called down for school early morn on this Tuesday, around and about a day or so before or after doomsday? I searched the house, bottom to top, found not my dad nor mom, and tried hard not to think of them wished away by a bomb. But bath and dress and breakfast, most important meal each new day, even around and about a day or so before or after doomsday. Second illustration. No other children did I see as I walked out the door. And no grown-ups on top of that, much stranger all the more. No cat, no dog, no squirrel there. Nope, not even a blue jay. Around and about a day or so before or after doomsday. I walked and walked for miles until finally I did see the strangest animals in the world, if in the world they should be. A part of me grew scared, but yet another part whooped, hooray! Around and about a day or so before or after doomsday. I ran and played among them there, glad for the chance to smile. I'd try to find my folks for sure after a little while. But first I'll catalog the lot, though some might call it hearsay. Around and about a day or so before or after doomsday. Next illustration. The Zimmerflunts and Nerfelfloof, and these I'll call the Zubloos. But if I were to keep them all, I'd have to build some new zoos. And who would come to see them all on this sunny, lonely day? Around and about a day or so before or after doomsday. Creatures out of imaginings, sprung as if up from deep sleep. It kept me wondering if I should ha or weep. Enough of this fantastic dream. I wished it all fade away, around and about a day or so, before or after doomsday. All of a sudden, I could hear a loud voice say, "Who goes there?" I didn't know just what to do. It came from, well, who knows where? Then silently from down the sky, a spaceship grand made its way, around or about a day or so, before or after doomsday. The spaceship landed in the field, flattening all the grass. And yet, I thought it all a dream, and wished for it to pass. But I could not deny it, for right before me the proof lay, around and about a day or so, before or after doomsday. The spaceship's port had opened wide. The light almost made me blind. Lo and behold, my eyes did see a sight denied all mankind. A being quite splendiferous rode down the moving stairway, around and about a day or so, before or after doomsday. He wore a spotless three-piece suit, shoes polished to a shine, extended what I'd call it a hand, and placed his card in mine. Smiled a sweet and deadly smile, freshened his throat with breath spray, around and about a day or so, before or after doomsday. "You see," said Mr. Frumerance, who resembled a shark, "we have a lot of spaceships, and we need some place to park. Far off in the Crab Nebulae, we'll finish up this throughway, around and about a day or so, before or after doomsday. Out in Alpha Centauri Bright, past your galactic wall, we'll build the universe's most amazing super mall. You represent the stumper sun, is all I would have to say, around and about a day or so, before or after doomsday."
Spaceship.
"You're not supposed to be here, son. This world should have been clean. No pesky native creatures should remain here to be seen. I must deal with you now at once. I cannot afford delay, around and about a day or so, before or after doomsday." "You cannot do this, sir, I plead. Not for my life alone, but for the very planet where billions once made their home. Don't seal its fate forevermore. Don't take it all away, around and about a day or so, before or after doomsday." "More and more interesting, son," said Mr. Frumerance. "It runs against my morals, but I'll give a fighting chance to defend this, your little world. Yes, I'll let you have your say, around and about a day or so, before or after doomsday." And here is Mr. Frumerance.
All right.
"I beg of you, sir, I beg of you a moment, sir, so to collect my thoughts, and separate, as well I should, the shouldn'ts from the oughts. If I were such a lad, well, I would gamble on what you'd say, around and about a day or so, before or after doomsday. The while here, I hold it dear, hold nature's beauty high. From fish that swim in the murky deep, to birds soaring high. To all my fellow human beings, who should be allowed to play around and about a day or so before or after doomsday. The butterfly, the cat's bright eye, the horses in the field, the peacock's wondrous feathers, and the turtle's bony shield. Can you kind frumarants declare that they are all in the way, around and about a day or so before or after doomsday? So many wonders in the world, amazing to behold. No words for what they mean to me, they're more precious than gold. To save them all, kind frumarant, I pledge forever to pray around and about a day or so before or after doomsday. I applaud you for stating your case so poetically, but regret to inform you, you mean not a thing to me. Must go about my business, son, and I shall be on my way around and about a day or so before or after doomsday. And there he is, patting the little kid on the head as he's about to say that, well, we're going to blow up the earth and build a parking lot. With a device upon my ship, I'll wipe out all your kind. This time I shall make sure that I leave none of you behind. Business is such a dirty game, but someone has to pay around and about a day or so before or after doomsday. I watched that stately frumarance with his charges depart, and felt a lump the size of Mount Everest on my heart. I'd done my best, but felt that the whole wide world I did betray around and about a day or so before or after doomsday. As darkness closed forevermore, I uttered not a word. If I another plea could make, well, no one would have heard. Why bother living at all? I almost wanted to say, around and about a day or so before or after doomsday. In blackness, I felt something pulling deep inside my head. A shout bid me, awake! And I was here, in my own bed. My mom's calling me down for school, early morn on this Tuesday, around and about a day or so before or after doomsday. I wouldn't speak a word of this, I promised to myself, but write it down in verse and put it up on the shelf. If it became more than a dream, I'd know what I know today, around and about a day or so before or after doomsday. And there it is. Yeah.
Oh, you can show this one.
I can show this one. I don't know.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So, turns out it was all a dream. The world did not end, but just in case, this little kid of about maybe 9 years old, who unsuccessfully tried to defend the world against being blown up to make way for a parking lot. And once again, I do have a new book out called Notes from the Exploding Library. It's on Amazon for like $17.76. That's about the least they let me charge for it. But I got a couple of that's the kid writing it down just in case this dream comes true and has to
defend the road single-handedly against being turned into a parking lot.
Is that your art undercover?
That's my art, yeah. Well, I did all the artwork here. Yeah, I'll take a look.
Okey dokey.
It's part comic book, part children's book, part autobiography. And, yeah, it's not officially on Amazon, and I got like
Chris?
a very good comics. Okay, cool. Yay. Huberman.
This is like, I need to edit it one more time and then it'll be good, but I'm gonna read it anyway. And I have to say, my Gooba shirt, the title of the story is called Saving My Gooba Shirt. Unfortunately, my Gooba shirt fell apart finally, but I'll read the story and you'll see what I'm talking about. This is called Saving My Gooba Shirt. 38 years ago, I had gotten a job at the U.S. Post Office. I was 25 years old, and my previous job experience consisted of me being an inside messenger for a law firm on Park Avenue. I had moved up the ladder, becoming a member of the civil service. My father's enthusiasm was pure joy. I remember him actually kissing the sidewalk outdoors on a beautiful sunny afternoon after he heard the news that I had been accepted for the job of postal clerk. Like lightning, my parents moved me out to my grandmother's apartment in my Queens neighborhood of Regal Park. My grandmother wanted out. She couldn't handle being on her own anymore and voluntarily went into a nursing home. As soon as I moved into my grandmother's digs, my parents changed the locks on their co-op. That's right, that's all right, I thought. I'll do the same to them. I banned them from visiting my grandmother's apartment, even though we lived only 4 New York City blocks apart. Well, it's mine, wasn't it? And hey, they changed the locks first. During that move period, my chemicals of choice were angel dust and small bottles of methadone that I would buy off the other rock star drug addicts at Max's Kansas City, the notorious punk rock club. My first day on the job at Morgan General Manhandling Facility, I was assigned to a job on the 4th floor. The job in total was dragging huge bags of 4th-class mail packed in these dusty postal bags 3 at a time to the other side of the building and throwing them down the postal drop chute. My hours of operation was midnight to 10:30. 10 hours a day, 6 days a week. Bye-bye, Max's Kansas City, Danceteria, Mud Club, and all those dingy, decadent after-hour establishments. I was now a government mule. The deal was that if I made the first 90 days, I would be a union-protected employee. That meant that the brass couldn't find me unless I stole, brought drugs onto the work floor, or assaulted someone. My father had a strategy for me to keep this job. First rule, don't do or bring drugs on the job. Second rule, stay as quiet as possible. Maybe they'll forget you worked there. Something that he learned in the concentration camps. Well, the first rule, during my lunch break, I would go down the stairs, leave the building, cross the street, and go where my drugs were hidden, behind a broken building cinder block. I would just move the brick away, get high, put my stash back behind the broken brick, and return to the work area. No problem, no problem. And the second rule, since I was drinking methadone, I wasn't that social anyway, so I was always quiet. And sure enough, my father's strategy worked, because my supervisor was supposed to fire me on my 88th day. But he forgot and fired me on my 92nd day. When he gave me the removal papers, the union shop steward ran up to my superior and said, "Hey, why are you firing Huberman?" The manager, who was just a real skinny dude who was losing his hair, said, My reason is Huberman is just unfit to work for the post office. Anyway, it's his 88th day, he didn't make the 90-day rule, he's not protected by the union, and on top of it all, he's a nut job. Wrong, replied the union shop steward. He's on his 92nd day, I kept the count. You fucked up! The shop steward, he looked kind of like the splitting image of Jerry Garcia. I once asked him, "Are you Jerry Garcia?" His answer was, no, close, but no. I'm a religious Hasidic Jew hippie. The count was still being debated by the post office brass and the union whether I had completed 88 or 92nd days on the work floor. But I just didn't care. I was missing my social life and my on and off again girlfriend. As I was waiting for the end to their debate, and about an hour later, the union steward approaches me real happy. "You're here to stay, Huberman. You're now a full-time employee of the U.S. Post Office and dues-paying member of the union. And guess what? That skinny prick just got transferred. You'll be having a new supervisor soon. That dumb schmuck was supposed to fire you, but he got his days mixed up. Now he's getting transferred. Keep up the good work, Huberman." Okay. The next day, a few hours before my midnight shift, I went to an Army-Navy store that was on 34th Street, west of 8th Avenue. There I saw this shirt, a green brownish mess of cloth. "Is it clean?" I asked the clerk. "Of course, sir," the salesperson replied. "Good, that'll be the last time it gets cleaned." With a great deal of enthusiasm, I bought it, took off my Johnny Thunders t-shirt, put it in my bag, and put on my new shirt. I nicknamed it Goober. For some godforsaken reason, I came up with that name from an old popular 60s television show. Its theme was about sleepy North Carolina town called Mayberry. There were lots of characters that were country bumpkins, yodels, hicks, and crackers. The funny part was, with memorial names like Goober, Gomer, and Opie, the character called Goober always wore a white shirt. So it didn't really make sense to call my greenish-brown shirt a Goober shirt. But I didn't care, that's what I called it. I just didn't give a shit. Of course, author's note, a goober means a penis down south. And on 42nd Street, during the mean old New York City days, it meant a glob of a loogie that you would throw at an unsuspecting jerk-off in one of those old porno theaters. Probably in my own sick mind, I attributed the shirt to all three images. This was the beginning of my protest years against my awesome, shitty life. My girlfriend gone, no more nightclubbing, just work. I had stopped showering, but I still did shave because I didn't want to resemble Jerry Garcia in any way. All in all, I did not shower for 3 whole years. I would just throw some water on my face and maybe clean my armpits. I wore my goober shirt for 3 years straight, never ever thinking about putting it in the washing machine. I showed up to work every night and I was never late. My new supervisor would just look away. I did the same job, night in, night out, night in, night out. Just drag those heavily packed mail bags from one end of the work floor to the postal drop point on the other side. Pick up the bag, throw it down the chute, and go back for some more. I was on the nod, but nobody seemed to care. I did a good job, though. And as for a change of season in New York City, what did I care? When you're on a decent amount of methadone and smoking angel dust twice a week, who felt the cold to heat? Or anything for that matter. As for my hair, I would mix in a greasy glob of goo from some cheap 99-cent store. And as for the B.O., don't ask me. I didn't look or ask for any feedback. And I always wore my trusty goober shirt. It was a tough old shirt, worn down but still reliable. And then one day, the hippie Hasidic Jew who always wore a green army jacket that I believed he never changed, approached me. My union shop steward said, "Guess what, Huberman? We got chance at the Midtown Post Office. No more midnights, no more forced overtime, no more 10-hour shifts. You made regular." I looked at him confused. I thought I was a regular. He laughed. "No, Huberman, you were a sub. That term meant that you never had an official position, but now you do." I didn't say anything, just smiled, or maybe it was a smirk. "What's my shift?" 4 to 12, the union freak said. That night, I showered for the first time in years, put my old goober shirt away, and got my rock and roll nightclub clothes back together. Oh, it's gonna be sweet! After hour clubs, here I come! And as for the methadone, I kicked very hard, and got off it. Well, sort of. It took me a few years. Now, fast forward to the present. With COVID-19 taking over the streets, I've taken it out of my mothballs and I put it back on my body. The goober shirt. I wear it every day. It helps me do a minimum amount of laundry and saves me a lot of cash. I do shower though. Well, not really. I take hot baths every other day. And I've been drug-free for years now. And as for the goober shirt, I cleaned it myself. And surprisingly, it did not fall apart. Though I did patch it up a little. It's my superhero outfit. Batman has his cowl, Robin has his tights, Wonder Woman her magic lasso, and I have my goober shirt. But unfortunately, it fell apart from it. But that's it. All right, that's it.
Thank you very much. Amy Huberman. Let's stay right there.
This is an old one. I read this it's from like the mid-90s, what I observed on the train. One foggy morning in the year of our Lord, 1995, Patrick the Panhandler stepped onto a crowded number 1 line. Patrick is seen as a vagabond in the Western world, whose cries of desperation fell on mostly deaf ears of black and Latino strap hangers. But to me, this dramatic tone and West Coast Irish accent tells me stories of pastel-colored bungalows, some with slate, other with thatched roofs, winding cobblestone streets turned into car parks and campsites. Teenagers huff and glue along the roadside. His features told me stories of Spanish sailors at the port of Galway Bay, Greeks and Phoenicians, Egyptians, and other merchants and sailors before that. Musicians, sometimes I'm lost here. Okay. I want to do another one. I'm lost here.
No problem. We're with you.
Some nights I feel like a prostitute and my dispatcher pimp. 20 to 30 people ride me at night. I can't always know their fetish and what their trip is. Some see me as a therapist, a punching bag. Others an inanimate object. Some want to make love to me. Others want to take me off and kill me. Some tip me real well for good service. I can't always know what their fetish is from the face and know how they want it, but I usually do. I have a lot in common with New York City sanitation. I pick up the trash and drop it off. Sometimes I clean the blood and crumb stains off the back of my seats. Someone took their first breath and someone took their last breath in the back of my cab. I hear Urdu, Farsi, Spanish, Russian, Romney, German, and Turkish spoken all in one night. I listen to yuppies talk about yoga mats and colonics, little old grannies and off-duty cops who get drunk and snort lines in the back of my cab. I've gotten head from the daughter of a French diplomat, shot coke with hookers zooming down the FDR, blasting GBH. I know all the cat houses and card games are held at. I'm part of every ethnic enclave and party that lets out. I deal with everyone from Hasids to Hispanics. I haggle with black folks over the fair and no tip on top of that shit. You could be as nice as ice cream and pie, but good night's not gonna pay my bills. Get the fuck out before I speed off and you half in the car. streets are closed due to shootings and auto accidents. I smell the burning rubber and the flesh and the stench of trash piled up high in the summer heats. I stop for a nash with God's chosen people or some chai with the Punjabi brothers. Flatbush, Utica, Utica. I head to the pumps and book out only to get up and do it all over again. That's about driving a cab in New York City. The other one, I read it so many times, I don't want to read it again, and I keep losing my place, I have to reformat it. But that's it for now. Thank you.
Please welcome a regular on Stock Reality. His music has meaning, has depth, has passion. Please welcome Ken Taylor. Ken? 3 of them.
Oh, okay. All right, what's happening again? Went to the doctor to ease up on my pain. Doctor gave a prescription that went up straight to my brain. I don't know if it helped me, and I don't really care. Just keep on feeding me pills, doctor, 'cause now I'm walking on air. Too bad for you, too bad for me. If you're thinking of the 2020 version of bullshit, you're too blind to see. Went to the preacher, hit the hacienda. He said he's not gonna get no that worse. Went to the preacher. Okay. Too bad for you, too bad for me. You're looking for the 2020 version of bullshit, too blind to see. Here comes the big bad COVID, prowling up the air. Quarantine in apartments, living our lives in fear. They say they got a solution, gonna stick it in your arms. And if you don't believe Fauci now, it ain't gonna do you no harm. Too bad for you, too bad for me. If you're thinking of the 2020 version of bullshit, too blind to see. Too bad for you, too bad for me. If you're looking at the 2020 version of bullshit, too blind to see. Too high, too confused. I wanna make love. That's right. I want Be extraordinary. Oh no, don't be ordinary. Oh no, be extraordinary. Okay, so we're gonna try something. I'm gonna ask you to sing along with me on my verses, on my choruses rather. I'll sing it one time for you. And I'm gonna expect you to join me. Don't leave me out there, please. Just gotta say that a lot of information is lost with those masks on. I hope you realize that. When somebody wears a mask, you really can't, it's harder for you to connect with them. But that's just me.
Say that's the light.
Not in front of the microphone.
Huh?
All the masks come off in front of the
No,
microphone.
I mean when you look into the audience.
Oh, yeah.
It's hard to gauge people's
We also
reactions.
have to get used to it.
Look at the eyes. Look at the eyes.
They look like,
It all looks like that.
they look like a bunch of Batman villains.
Everyone looks so afraid.
Fat Robert is what we look like.
So, it's called, It's a Beautiful Day.
Oh,
It's a beautiful day anyway. This is your part. Try it, try it. One more. Every time I say it's a beautiful day, such a beautiful day. It's a beautiful day. First one. I got up today with a smile on my face. I took a look around my whole space. I had the sun in the skies. I had love in my eyes. I knew my life had a plan, 'cause with that unk in my hands, it's a beautiful day. Such a beautiful day. It's a beautiful day. One more. It's a beautiful day. Such a beautiful day. It's a beautiful day. Verse 2. I don't think about all the things I have not. Too busy thinking about all the things that I got. I got the sun, I got the moon, I got the smell of sweet perfume. I got you, I got me, I got spirit and room. I got troubles that won't last. I got a handful class. I got friends in all the zones that call me on my cell phone. I got people over here, people over there. Some of y'all don't like me, but I don't really care. I got places to be. I got a man I can be. Got a world I got to walk with. Positive thought. I got no time to kill. I got a strong will. Things I gotta do. Girl, let me come on through. It's a beautiful day. Such a beautiful day. It's a beautiful day. It's a beautiful day.
Okay, now we're gonna go back to Fred. He called. So, I'm gonna try calling him again. Okay. You know what? It doesn't leave your mind. It don't leave my mind.
That's a good thing.
So at the end of the open mic, maybe we can get your Life Bites song
Okay.
to go away into the night.
All right. All right.
Let's call Fred.
Hello?
Hello, oh, we got you. This is Frederick Todd Smith, a playwright, a singer, a poet, and he knows it. Are you ready, Freddie?
Sure.
Whee! Take it away.
The way you hold your hand, the way you sip your tea, the memory of all that. No, no, they can't take that away from me. The way you smile just beams, the way you sing off key, the way you haunt my dreams. No, no, they can't take that away from me. We may never, never meet again on the bumpy road of love. Still I'll always, always keep the memory of the way you hold your knife, the way we danced till 3, the way you changed my life. No, no, they can't take that away from me. No, they can't take that away from me.
Woo! That was beautiful.
I'm gonna do some poetry.
Okay.
I had a book come out called In the Temple of My Mind. And the first poem, trying to get the bookmark out. Okay. The first poem is called The Calendar with 1 Month. The calendar with only 1 month. You were afraid to love me. You were afraid of me. Because I tell the truth or I don't speak at all. You were afraid I would remember the words you said and how to get, sorry. You were afraid I would remember the words you said and how to get ahead, but fail to. You thought of me as your hero. I've done what I could. When it was bad, but it's usually good, like it should be, like it should. Thank you. I'm having a little problems with my vision, so please bear with me. This poem is called Smile When You're Feeling Hostile. Why did you paint a smiley face on the rock you threw through my window? Is that a little stupid? You're always insulting. But substituting sugar with salt at your age
singing, because it's hard for me to read the page. I'm going to do a Beatles song. For I have got another girl. She's sweeter than all the girls, and I've met quite a few. And all the world does what she can do. I ain't no fool, and I don't take what I don't want, for I have got another girl who will love me till the end. Through thick and thin, she will always be my friend. You have me say that there is nobody but you, but as from today, well, I've seen somebody that's new. I ain't no fool, and I don't take what I don't want, for I have got another girl who will love me till the end. Through thick and thin, she will always be my friend. For I've got another girl. Thank you.
That's it?
Yeah, that's all I have.
Okay, Freddie, the next show is gonna be February 13th. I'm doing it twice a month now.
February 13th?
Yep. No, wait a second. Is that a Friday or a Saturday?
Saturday.
That's, okay, Friday the 13th. I mean, Saturday the 13th. All right, I'll talk to you before that. Take care.
All right, great.
Bye-bye.
Take care.
Bye.
Bye.
Please welcome the king of short poems, Wentzelbaum.
Hi. Okay. I can't see anybody.
Yeah.
Well, I can't, with or without mask, but I can see my work. Oh, that's what it's on here. Well, that expands the scope a little. I got my age-specific COVID shot yesterday. So, free hugs for everybody.
Right.
Any side effects?
Well, they say you get a little bit of a sore arm, which you
Yeah.
get with any shot, so I
Yeah.
got a little bit of a sore arm, but
Cool.
you know, I don't have, I'm walking, I'm talking. All right, I'll read some of this world's shortest poems, since that's become my standard intro around here. Insomnia, the light is drama. Constitution, nothing is meant to happen. Photo, was she pretty once? Sprinkler, she's getting in. Empty, the curtain stays up. Improbably, yes. Will she ever shut up? And behind, she leads, knowing. And then, grave. Skylight in my big head can't get lower than the dirt. So far to fall. At any time, plucked from the reaches by no visible will, a wine drop in your finer celeste, near, if not in the air, like a bell only one eye can hear, a dream with sensible shoes. Sorry, there it was, and you and me was hardly looking, taking my pleasure, phosphorescent on either lip. One or two more. To the landscaper, on the institutional lawn, indifferently, you drop the almost random tree, picking up the check for the 2 weeks of spring, binging on the pink, torrentially cool that smacks the cheek of the light. A little giddy when stripped by slim gusts, to brush passing shoes, never yours, distant and smug. Ritual Joe. Brown potion in white cistern, banishing goats from last night before sleep, welcoming ghosts to day hours ahead. Razor blade click back in the eye, gone. I guess that's my beat poem. It ends with, well, among other, it ends with gone, right? Makes it beat. And finally, in the classical tradition, sort of, Greek-ish. From her lips, I heed close to the pearls she whispers. Drink deep of the wine she has sipped. Take second life from sweet breath she exhales. At the well, always cresting, the larder endlessly feeding, the cradle banishing death, I encamp forever. Thank you.
Hanging left there, on Eden Avenue. I'll show you where I lived as a teenager. This was the same neighborhood as the writer E.L. Doctorow grew up in. The author of novels like Ragtime. His works, World's Fair, Billy Bathgate, and the Book of Daniel, are all set on the Bronx streets right here. Make a left here. Morris Avenue. See that pharmacy in the corner? That was Rostov's drugstore, mentioned as the big teen hangout during the Second World War, World's Fair. Make a right. Now this is 1701 Eastbourne Avenue. The address is also mentioned in the memoir. He mentions that the building has 2 entrances, one on East 174th and one here on Eastbourne. That's where I lived with my father when I was still in high school. That fence is new. A stark metal fence topped with curved spikes bent outward and a buzzer system stretched across the entrance's massive courtyard, something that could contain detainees in an internment camp on the US-Mexican border. Go ahead, take a picture. I whipped out my Android phone to archive the fact that the building had not burned to the ground during the great conflagrations of the South Bronx in the 1970s. This is considered the South Bronx? Yeah, that makes it a perfect 3 for 3. Every one of the apartments where I live, this one, 2448 Crescent Avenue, and 2319 Loring Place, are all still intact, all standing and occupied. A pretty good record for these parts after the notorious period of the Bronx and burning. You know, memory can be a very strange thing. I remember this courtyard as being much bigger. Time dulls the memory, or maybe it's just that death camp fence locking everybody inside that makes it look a lot smaller 50 years later. Nice place? What are you kidding me? A real shithole. Look, the bricks are all crumbling. Yeah, it looks like there's a lot of water damage. It cracks up by the roof. And that courtyard, it was used as an open-air latrine by all the derelicts in the neighborhood. They would flock for miles all around just to shit and piss all over my front stoop. The courtyard provided some semblance of privacy for the toilet-deprived bums in the hood. It was also a staging area for gangs and a very convenient ambush site for armed robberies, muggings, rapes, and stabbings. See that schoolyard across the street? That was where E.L. Doctorow relates he saw his first dead body. A lady got hit by a car, was pinned underneath it while he was playing baseball during recess. Traumatized the kid for life. Now make a left. This Weeks Avenue, where he lived as a child, 1696 Weeks Avenue, was also the fictionalized home of the Rosenbergs in the novel Book of Daniel, Julius and Ethel Rosenberg, the nuclear Russian spy family. They were tried and convicted by corrupt Nixon lawyer Roy Cohn, like they were portrayed by Tony Kushner in Angels of America. In the book, E.L. Doctorow claims that they were framed, but there really was an actual family of Russian nuclear spies who were guilty of espionage who lived on the other side of the Grand Concourse, and they managed to escape to the Soviet Union while the Rosenbergs were executed as communist martyrs. What park is that over there? Claremont Park was mentioned in the book Billy Bathgate. Bathgate is the neighborhood just on the other side of Webster Avenue. Even back in the days of E.L. Doctorow, Bathgate was where all the bad kids lived, the juvenile delinquents, thugs, gangsters, and mobsters. Just north of here is Belmont, where the mafia ruled the streets, like in the movie A Bronx Tale with Robert De Niro. That garden reminds me a lot of the Lower East Side. Yeah, there was an abandoned building there, like an old haunted house. It must have burned to the ground years ago. But it was the biggest, most luxurious mansion in the area. Now it's a community garden after it was a vacant lot for decades. Just like all those people's gardens today on the Lower East Side. And in World's Fair, Dr. O claimed it was rumored to be the love nest of Bronx Judge Francis Martin. He ruled the Bronx Democratic Party for the 1920s to the 1940s. And supposedly, that's where he kept his mistress and his love child. It was all a well-known secret gossiped about by all the old Jewish yentas in the neighborhood. My neighborhood library was named in his honor. My maternal grandfather, Joseph Brazel, worked as a clerk in his chambers at the Bronx County Courthouse. It was kind of a modern-day retelling of the story of King Henry II of England, Eleanor of Aquitaine his queen, and the king's favorite mistress, Rosamund. The king installs his paramour in the castle, surrounded by a magical garden that only he has a key to open. The queen manages to gain access, ferrets out Rosamund, and kills her to revenge. And I got a fight, went to a fight with my younger brother, Kevin, one time, picked up a steak knife to fend him off. He grabbed that and I accidentally cut his hand open. He wound up at Bronx Lebanon Hospital ER over there with 6 stitches in his palm. You know, 2 teen boys playing grab ass and somebody gets cut up. You know, it's all fun and games until someone loses an eye. Was your father pissed off? Did he punish you? Of course. It was all my fault because I was older. I had no excuse for my bad behavior. What, did he beat the shit out of you? No, he swore he was gonna, but he was pretty much just a broken down alcoholic by that point, so he never did. His big complaint was that it cost him money. You went to the emergency room without telling me first? This cost me $75, you little bastard! That's gonna come out of your pocket, you little prick! Of course, he forgot all about it next time he went on a drunken bender. Do you miss your old neighborhood? What are you fucking kidding me? Look at all this urban squalor! I was the only white boy in the neighborhood. I had to come back here at 1 a.m. every night, drunk off my ass and high on drugs. Hey, white boy, what you doing down here? I almost got killed by the Royal Jackals and Puerto Rican gang members a couple of times. I couldn't get out of here fast enough. I enlisted in the U.S. Coast Guard at age 17. I wasn't even out of high school yet. Or more accurate, my father signed me in just to get rid of me. It was either boot camp or drug rehab, and I knew if I had a military ID card, I could legally drink at any naval-based bar in the U.S. at age 17, so there was really no choice at all. I was already an alcoholic by then anyway, and later I wound up Columbia in Manhattan, and I never looked back. Did you buy drugs in the neighborhood? No, even in those days I would go to score weed in Union Square Park or Washington Square. It was a quick ride to the village on the elevated number 4 IRT line on Jerome Avenue, or the IND train, the D train over on Grand Concourse to West 4th Street Station. I was riding the subways at age 14 with my main man Pitt, or Joe Raddick, my bro for Bronx Science. Later, we'd ride up in Joe's older brother's yellow Chevy Malibu to Riverdale and buy pot and mescaline for the rich Jewish kids at K-Pop Street. But just go straight. The concourse snakes around here, so we'll run right back into it. That triangular structure is the Medical Arts Building, been there forever, at the corner of Tremont and Mount Hope Avenue. It's the 3 Bronx mounts, Mount Hope, Mount Eden, and Bell Mount. So Tremont, the 3 mounts, avenue that winds between them. See that dome church there? It used to be a Jewish synagogue. Now it's a Seventh-day Adventist Protestant congregation. That Greek revival building with the white columns and the Star of David over the door looks like the Parthenon in Athens. Now it's a Baptist church. This was all a Jewish neighborhood back in the day. Al Jolson, in the first talking picture, there's a jazz singer. In 1927, he serenaded his Yiddish Mamala in their parlor on the Lower East Side. Mama, I'm going to get you out of here and move into the Bronx. The Goldbergs, the Rosenbergs, the Steinbergs, they're all up there. Oh, only the best Bergs are up there. The Bronx was considered a paradise on earth for the Jews living in squalid Lower East Side tenements back in the 20s. Now this is Burnside Avenue. In my day, this was the southern boundary of the Irish, that is, white neighborhoods in the Bronx. See that old abandoned building over there with the big real estate banner advertising, rent this new commercial space? That was Bronx Royal Hospital. That's where my younger brothers and sisters, the triplets, were born in 1964. That's also where my mother bought me when she banged my head down to a wooden bench and tore open my right ear with a rusty nail sticking out from it. Only time in my life I was ever hospitalized. And when my father got home that night and found out about what had happened, he blackened both of my mother's eyes. When he went back to work the next day, my mother smacked me around a second time for telling my father what really happened. I was 4 years old at the time. But that was the Bronx back in the 60s. I'm doing this for your own good, you know.
Oh. It's time
Please welcome the amazing man with a guitar and a song and sometimes a drum, but always with passion, Ken Thompson.
What's up? I want to do two poems and a song.
Let me lower it to you. Got it?
Vesuvius, Krakatoa, Volcan, Agua, Volcan, Fuego. Gentle curling sulfur smoke reminds you that they are there. The constant threat, the possibility of eruptions, pressure building and release from the bowels of the earth, tectonic plates shift and overlap, do a violent, passionate dance, singing and then screaming, roaring, sulfur, ash, and lava, red rivers of fire were set off when you touch me. What was dormant inside was still alive when you touch me. It woke when I saw you again. Vesuvius, Krakatoa, Volcan Agua, Volcan Fuego. And this poem is called Amelia. And what I like about the space and what Viviana lets us do, we can try out new things and do anything we want. And that's a good thing. Amelia. She don't believe me when I confess to her about my epiphany, about universal love. Her eyes said the only things that are real are the pull of the moon and the thrust of a knife and a thick wad of soft cash in your hand. The sweet smell of money lining your nostrils. Those are the only things that make most men sit up and pay attention and move. When the moon was full, I went out walking, partially proving her theory was correct. My steps like words of a poem,
I was compelled to write irrevocable words that bled on the page about the times I threw everything away. To let my spirit escape like air on an arid planet with no wind, just gas to inhale, lining my nostrils. So I would die alone, without recognition or last rites, a million walks away. She don't know about universal love. No, no, no. This is a Joe Mitchell song for y'all. Up in the sterilized room where they let you be lazy, knowing your attitudes are wrong and you gotta change, and that's not easy. A dragon shining with all values known, dazzling you, keeping you from your own. Where is the light in you to defy him when you're this weak and spacey? What are you gonna do about it? You can't live life and you can't leave it. Advice or religion, you can't take it, you can't seem to believe it. Peacock is afraid to parade. You're under the thumb of the maid, and you really can't give love in this condition. Still you know how you need it. They open and they close. They talk like they know you. They don't know you. They're friends and they're foes too. Troubled child, breaking like the waves. I'm breaking like the waves of Malibu. Hey, hey, so why does it come as such a shock to know you really have no one? Only a river of changing faces looking for an ocean. They trickle through your leafy plants, another dream over the dam. And you're lying in some room, thinking that your right to be human is going home too. Well, some will try and knock you. Some will try and clock you. It really is hard to talk sense to you. Troubled child, I'm breaking like the waves of Malibu. Hey.
instructions can be noisy or quiet. Please welcome Mr. Ernest Whipley.
Okay, good evening, people. Good evening, good afternoon.
evening.
Getting ahead of myself here. Okay, I hope everybody's enjoying themselves, enjoying the day this far. Okay. First poem I'm going to read is one I wrote, I think about a decade ago. It's called Tender Hands. Excuse me. Okay, here we go. Tender hands, starving for your touch, starving for a touch like a 3-course meal, gently touching your face as a ball of cotton, stroking tears from your eyes while consoling your soul, touching slightly, stroking your soft skin, healing your broken spirit, building your spirit, giving you feeling, giving you the touch of feeling of your lotion soft hands. To shake, become friends. My tender hands want to introduce themselves to you. Right. This next poem I'm going to read from a book me and some writers took apart about a decade ago called the E1 Writers Group. It's called Filter from the Heart, Voices from Within. I have about 10 or more poems in this book. The poem I'm going to read is one of mine. It's called Funky Body. Bad breath, stank breath, morning breath, smells of death. Nose searing, eyes tearing, ever fearing knockout punch, wondering whether overhand right from scopeless mouth, left jab from odor stickless underarms, right uppercut from unpowdered punching forgotten feet. Which of these punches will do me in? Damn, burning smell. Think I'm in hell. Pathetic body gross, don't stand close. Use some money. No golden blossom, honey. Please, buy some hope and buy some ivory soap. I'll read one more from one of my favorite poets, like some Hughes. And, okay, the one I'm going to read is called, Country. Child country. My mother said a house we'll buy in the country where the sky is not hidden by tall buildings. I said we'll have a hill for coasting in the wintertime or climbing in the summertime. I love the coast. I love to climb.
That's it. Neiman, I gotta take a picture of you. Can you read one more poem? So I can take a picture of you.
Like an action shot? Action, yes.
Mr. Weiselbaum. Neiman Weiselbaum.
Oh, yeah, you got that right. One you're here. Okay, sure. We didn't actually have home.
Yeah?
Same women.
Now.
The ticket. White spaces and traffic as usual. Then she pulls the gate and the garden is open. It's not like he was looking. He's thinking, if it's that easy getting in, it ain't no sin. Paradise found and irony lost amid the immortalizing orchids.
Thank you, that is beautiful. this room right now. Hi, young lady. We're the only women here. Isn't it amazing? Okay. So this first, I have 3 poems. The first one is a poem about a bad date. I went on a date a long time ago, and you know, my poems are not exactly Little Miss Muffet, sat on a tuffet, eating her curds and whey. My poems are passionate. So I went on a date and he read my poetry and he said, wow, your poems have a lot of anger. He's got no balls. Okay. You can't take passion from a woman, then, you know. Anyway, I do what poets do. I immortalize them in a poem. Watch when you go out with a poet, because you'll end up in a poem. It's called Anger, he said. Your poems have anger, he said. It is hunger, I said. Frothy, sugary, bubbly candy words do not satisfy a lurking tigress hungry for truth. This seeding vixen's mouth around your cock takes you back to birth. My hunger is for you, and now you run because you know the real me and you know the real you. The mirror does not lie. I'll give you my wrist to tie and a blindfold for my eyes. I would bind you to my holy bed, sail my tongue along your helpless flesh. It's my hunger that swallows you whole. The only anger you see is of this woman who is not free. So when you become 40, after 40, people start asking you, well, are you going to retire? You know, you fucking don't ask a poet if they're going to retire. Because writing is like breathing, you know? You do it your whole life. So the name of this poem is called Beat. It's a beat poem. Beat starts, heart thumps. Beat of time wrinkles your mind. Flesh is not lined. Do not cave to the beat of time. Rock your mind, body will dance. When will you retire, retire, retire? Or die in Florida, or burn under sun? Rest, rest, rest. Time to age. I rage at time. I control time. I decide time. I do not retire or die in Florida or Arizona. I take water and red rocks, climb higher and higher. Poets do not retire. Fighters and rebels do not retire. We get higher and higher till we bleed reality and suck the blood of the retired. Wake the breathing dead. Blast beat of bullet words. Wake up the retired. Sing out loud. Do not retire. Dance naked. Follow the fire of beats. Beat of tunes, rock and roll will make you whole. Jump to the beat, party with life, rip her clothes off, end his silence, dance like animals in heat, fucking like beasts. I retire normality. Paint red, green, and neon pinks, yellow circles of sun beating black shadows on gray streets, on this city that never sleeps. New York City does not retire, gets higher and higher, braver when blood strikes. New York City does not retire, gets hotter in the beat of hot streets. He tells me, move to the country, the trees, hammocks rocking to the breeze. I say no, I stay in city streets. Dance to beat of words, bleed New York City into my soul, dancing my rock and roll, angering the retired into life. Grab your cock, wet your cunt, and come, come, come. Orgasm, scream, it's not a dream. Beat of your heart, beat of drums, pulse of city streets. Do not retire, reach higher for the beat. Heat, red like blood, your soul not meant to be quiet. Be a riot, be a scream, be the beat of a rock and roll dream. Speed jazz beat. Do not retire. Don't stop the clock. Keep beating, repeating the fire of beats. Forever drumming, forever coming, forever breathing. Fucking to the beat. Do not retire the fire. Just burn, burn, burn. Thank you. And the last poem. I'm one of the few atheists that actually likes Jesus, okay? I am a serious atheist. I think Jesus is real.
With or without ketchup?
Excuse me?
No, you like them with or without ketchup?
With or without what?
Forget it.
Oh. I think he was real. I think he got fucked when, you know, like Martin Luther King, like Gandhi, like Kennedy. He wouldn't shut his mouth. He had courage. Rock and roll Jesus. Jesus, spirit in the sky, taught rock and love, not just any kind. You can find the rock and roll in your soul, dig? Jesus did. He rocked and I do too. I rock and suck your cock at the same time I rock, like Mary Magdalene as queen. She sucked him too. Best blowjob he ever had. Because he knew how to rock her soul. In his soul, he knew rock and roll. Jesus, a spirit in the sky, he flies, he rocks through me so I can be free. Oh, teacher, you died, you cried. I deify you as my rock and roll lover. Jesus doesn't need religion, he's just preaching love. He knew mommy was no virgin. Guaranteed Joseph fucked Mary. Isn't it scary? Jesus is a normal guy, not the story you usually buy. Teacher, not guru, I want to do you. Once you died, they lied. Use your name in vain. I will not stain your name, because I rock and roll to teach what you preach. Like you and Bruce, I choose a ministry of rock and roll. I'm a rock and roll chick. I stick to the beat of the living soul. I need rock and roll to make me whole. Spirit in the sky, Jesus and Mary Magdalene, knight me, your rock and roll queen. I was born to be a dancing machine.
Yeah!